Are you looking to start your own Etsy business? Or for the motivation to keep going when things are slow and they are hard? Well, you are in luck. You have clicked on the right video and you are in the right place. Because today we're going to discuss the top 5 habits that all successful Etsy shop owners have in common. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what you need to do in order to join the ranks of Etsy's top performers. Aristotle once said 95% of everything we do is a result of habit. That is powerful. 95% of everything we do is a result of habit. We have to form really good habits in any area of life if we want to succeed in that area. And habits are learned. They don't just happen to us. We're not just born with them. They are learned. We can teach them to ourselves. We can create habits in our lives. We could create good habits or bad habits in our lives. That's powerful because that means we are in control of the habits that are in our life. And we could choose to change them and teach ourselves new ones if we want to. To change a bad habit, we simply replace it with a good habit. And how do we learn or replace or build a habit? It's simple. Through repetition, that's it. Through repetition. Through mindful repetition. Some of these habits are easily applied to any area in your life that you want to be successful in, while some of them are very specific things that you should be doing in your Etsy shop. So let's jump in to number 1. Number 1, make goals. Making goals is something that all successful people do, and wealthy people. They think about the goals that they've made. They have big goals, and they break those big goals into smaller daily goals that become action steps that lead them to the bigger goals. This really is a number 1 priority of successful people. This was something that throughout my first year of building my Etsy shop, I heard people speaking on, and so I started to implement the strategies they were talking about. They said keep a journal. They said keep a list. Write down the goals. Write the big goal. Break it down into smaller action steps, daily and weekly goals. Check off as you're doing them. This was a very powerful thing for me as I was going through that first year and continues to be a very powerful strategy for me. I heard a quote I really liked. If you don't plan out where you are going, you will wind up somewhere you did not plan to be. I thought that was really powerful. So at the beginning of the year, I thought, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to make my YouTube goals, and I'm going to make my Etsy goals. For YouTube, it was simply, I'm going to put 2 videos out every single week. That's what I'm going to try to do. No monetary goal, nothing other than that. I'm just going to try to grow my YouTube channel, 2 videos every week, and give viewers value from that. In my Etsy shop, I thought, okay, well, let me see if I can double it. $200,000 revenue, that's what I would like to make in my Etsy shop now. And so now I've broken that into smaller goals. Those smaller goals are my daily listing goals and my weekly listing goals or my monthly listing goals. And I have lists that I put little tallies on to keep up. I write down the niches that I'm going to be listing in. I plan that ahead of time. It just doesn't just happen. I plan it ahead of time. I'm mindful of which niches I'm going to be consistently adding in, because you really should be adding over time in a couple of places and not just always hopping all over the place. You could try new places here and there, test them out, and then if you enjoy them or they seem to do well or the market research tells you that this is a good place to be listing, then you make it a mission. Every week you're tallying up how many listings are you putting out here. Make goals there. And there are going to be lots of times where those goals don't go as planned. And that's why it's really important to have a really strong sense of a why, or a really strong reason for why you are working consistently in any area, whether that be building your Etsy shop, whether that be building health, or whether that be building yourself up to be someone people can count on. Any of these are great goals. And there are going to be times where you have setbacks in any of these places that you're working in. And setbacks can either have you throwing in the towel or not working as hard towards your goal. But if your reason why you are working in this area is strong enough, you will have the perseverance, you will have the strength, and you will have the purpose to keep going even when things aren't going as planned. You got a trademark infringement because you didn't know that word was trademarked. Is it going to stop you? Is it going to slow you down? You're not getting any sales yet. Is that going to stop you? Is it going to slow you down? Are you going to stop trying out strategies? Are you going to stop a strategy after 2 months instead of seeing that through for 3, 4, 5 months to see if you could get things going? Your why has to be strong enough to get you through those times. For me, I wanted more time. I didn't want to have to go after school every day tutoring. And as the success started to happen, my why expanded. Then I wanted financial freedom. And so I saw more potential and my why became even stronger. If your goal is being someone people can count on, maybe you're going to make 2 phone calls every week to check in on people. Now, after 2 or 3 weeks, are you going to be the person that they think that they can count on in any situation? Well, no, it's going to take a little longer than that. Just like with your Etsy goals. Make those goals. Maybe you're going for 20 listings every single week. Well, after 2 or 3 weeks, are you going to give up because you don't have a sale yet? No, it's probably going to take longer than that. Now, some people are lucky enough to get a sale that quick. Sometimes we just have to go a little longer, and that's okay. It's a small drop in the bucket after you've been doing this for a year, 2 years. Those beginning listings don't seem like such a big deal to you. You realize that over time, if you keep making that goal of doing those listings and paying attention to the market research, hitting these consistent smaller goals are going to lead up to you hitting those bigger goals in whatever area you're working in. If I do a few bicep curls each week, I do a few each week, am I going to have nice biceps after a couple weeks? No. I'm going to have to up that. I'm going to have to do more bicep curls if I want nice biceps after probably not a few weeks, a few months. These things take time. These small, consistent efforts of meeting these smaller goals over time will build up to our being able to achieve those bigger goals. I will say one last thing on the topic of making goals before we move on to our second habit. With goal setting, sometimes we need to make really achievable goals so that we can be successful and not be liars in our own eyes. And sometimes we have to make what we could call a stretch goal so that we can work a little harder even though we might not achieve that goal. And you're going to have to decide where you're at with your relationship with yourself before you know whether you need to make really tiny goals that are very achievable or those stretch goals. I remember a few years ago I had fitness goals and I had gained a couple pounds and wanted to drop those couple of pounds. I had told myself I was going to not eat carbs, bad carbs, French fries, potatoes, pasta, bread, white bread. And I remember struggling with myself because I would say every day I would wake up, I'm eating no carbs this month. I'm eating no carbs this month. And then every day I was thinking about French fries and I was thinking about pasta. And I broke it like every day. And I'd be going for a run in the afternoon or going for a drive and thinking and beating myself up. And I'm like, geez, Shawna, you're such a liar. You lied to yourself. And I was like really berating myself over this. And I learned I was not ready to make that month-long goal. I had to make shorter term goals, and I had to be someone that I could count on, someone that I could trust. And I had to keep my promises to myself in order to do that. So I said, okay, you're not going to eat carbs today. Today, there will be no carbs. Tomorrow, a new day, and you can make that decision tomorrow. So that afternoon, oh, well, I really want the pasta. No, okay, just today. You just have to get through today. And then tomorrow, if I chose tomorrow to say, okay, well, you did well yesterday, you could do this today, and then I can make that new goal each day. I became someone through that process that I trust. When Shawna says she's going to do something, she does it. So I became someone to myself that I could trust. And moving forward over the years, I've been able to make bigger and bigger goals and feel good about those goals as long as I tried my very best. And at this point, making stretch goals are really powerful for me. There's something that can happen when you make a goal that's a little too big because you work so hard to achieve it. One of my favorite sayings is, shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you will land among the stars. I love that saying. If you have a stretch goal, you're shooting for the moon, and you do the things, you work your very best to get to that goal, but you don't quite get there, and you realize your goal was super aggressive, but you really did all of the little things, you tried your very best to get there. Wherever you wind up, you're going to wind up among the stars with that stretch goal. You're going to wind up in a further place than had you made a really small, achievable goal and stopped working and not worked as hard the rest of the week because, well, I'm going to do 3 listings. Well, on Monday, you do the 3 listings. Okay, so let's say I'm going to try for 15 listings. Well, maybe by Sunday, I have 13 listings. But that's way better than stopping at 3 listings on Monday because I achieved the super simple goal. Maybe something to keep in mind. If you need to make smaller goals so that you trust yourself, you are trustworthy, and you believe you're going to do what you say you're going to do, then start there. If you're at a place where you know that you're going to work your very best and you're going to try your best to attain those goals that you've set for the week, well, then try a stretch goal. Try pushing yourself just a little bit. Habit number 2, be results-oriented. Now let's take that list of goals that you created for the day. Circle the one that is absolutely non-negotiable. It is the one that is going to have the most impact on your Etsy shop. Maybe you have to rework your product descriptions and to get 3 new listings out. You're probably going to circle the 3 new listings. If you only had time to do one of the things that are on your list, which one is it going to be? Circle that one. Do the others second. This is being results-oriented. Start with a thing that is going to be the biggest bang for your buck and is going to get you the results you are overall looking for the fastest. Habit number 3. Something else that successful people do, including successful Etsy shop owners or entrepreneurs in general, they take responsibility for the success and the failures in their own lives. They do not play the victim role. If something is not working out, they don't blame others or chalk it up to something that they have no control over, like luck or shadow banning. They are always looking for the lesson that they can learn. Sometimes that is simply learning one more way not to do something, one more type of design that didn't work, one more strategy that's not working. So let's just learn one more way not to do something, one more design that does not work for us, and then let's move on quickly. Your energy is always best spent thinking about the future and not focused on the past. If you are focused on your goal and your future instead of that failed attempt in the past, you will achieve that future goal much faster. Regardless of the setback, regardless of the failure, you get to choose what you're going to do next. That is beautiful. You get to choose what you're going to do next, how you are going to react in this situation, and what decision you're going to make moving forward. I have listened to YouTuber after YouTuber, some of them speaking about their stories on YouTube and growing a successful YouTube channel, and many speaking about their experience on Etsy or entrepreneurship in general. And what I have heard people share over and over again is how they had to open a new Etsy shop because the first one wasn't working. Their ideas, the shop never got going, and so they opened a new one. And they might not be sharing their success on Etsy until their third shop. The same thing with the people that are talking about YouTube, how they've tried 2, 3 YouTube channels before they got one to take off. So that gives me zero reason to be perseverating on a listing that didn't take off in my shop, or a niche that I couldn't get going in my shop, or a YouTube video that didn't get as many views as I wanted it to get. If these people that had failed shops could go through all of the effort and energy to get a new one going before they were able to talk about their success, what if they hadn't started a new shop? Or what if the person that took 7, 8, 9 months to get their shop going stopped in month 2 or 3, stopped 80 listings or 300 listings in? They wouldn't have the success to share with you now. They would have stopped before they ever got that journey moving, before they ever got that momentum going in that area. That would have been sad. So what we should be doing is looking to our future. Looking to the future and what decisions are we going to be making moving forward, facing that future. Habit number 4, and this one's very Etsy specific. Before we jump into it, if you are finding value in this video, if you wouldn't mind taking just a second to smash the like button, and if you aren't a subscriber yet, we invite you to become a subscriber. Here on Simply Shawna, we talk about entrepreneurship and we talk about my journey on Etsy. I share how I got my shop to a 6-figure profit in its 2nd year and how I was able to quit my full-time teaching job. And if I can do it, you can do it too. All right, habit number 4. This one is very Etsy specific, and I could actually break it down and do a whole video and break it into its own 5 habits. Something you should be doing in your shop every day. If that's something you'd be interested in, let me know down in the comments after I go over this habit if you want me to make a whole video on it. So 6-figure Etsy sellers track their metrics. They are students of their own shops. They listen to their shops. Based on what's happening in their shops, they make data-driven decisions every day in their shops. There's a little toggle switch on your listing page in your Etsy shop. It says stats. It's toward the right-hand corner of your listing page. Make sure that's toggled on. It's going to open up extra information about each of your listings, and it'll tell you how many visits they got in the last 30 days, how many sales they have overall. It will really let you know a lot about what's happening with your listings after you send them out to market. I make decisions in my shop based on these stats every single day. Every time I'm going in and making goals about what I want to be working on, the niches that I want to be working on, I am looking at that stats screen. I am seeing what's going on with the listings that I have just put out over the last 30 days. I want to see what's getting favorited. I want to see what's getting visits. I want to see what's getting sales. By tracking your metrics, by looking at all of your analytics, you can make data-driven decisions, and that is how you are going to get momentum in your shop, and that is how you are going to build your shop. In the very beginning, you're just trying some different niches, but once you have 30, 40 things out to market, you could start making data-driven decisions while still experimenting with new things. The more you experiment, the more listings you have, the more data you're going to get on those things, and the more data-driven decisions you can make in your shop. This is absolutely crucial. Crucial. I will have a link down in the description to videos that I've made about making data-driven decisions in your shop. Again, I can break this habit into 5 habits all of its own that are all very data-driven things that you should be doing in your shop every day. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do that. Habit number 5, our final habit. The 5th habit that successful people have, including six-figure Etsy sellers. And this is great discipline. And this habit of having great discipline, all other habits hinge on this habit. So the definition of self-discipline is the ability to make yourself do what you should do when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. Anyone can do what they need to do when they feel like it. What sets you apart from the rest is if you can carry through on all of those little things and have the self-discipline to finish all of these little tasks and achieve all those little goals, and to look at your stats every day and make those decisions. What sets you apart is if you can consistently do it on a regular basis, even when you don't feel like doing it, because sometimes you won't feel like doing it, especially when you're having those setbacks, especially when something doesn't go right. And the bigger that thing is that doesn't go right, and the more down we feel about it, the less we are going to feel like doing what needs to be done. But that is precisely the times when we need to keep doing those things that need to be done, that are pushing us through to the future that we are trying to build for ourselves. When you're all alone, are you sitting and watching silly YouTube videos that make you laugh, or watching TV, or playing on social media, or playing video games? And all of those things have a place, but are you doing those things instead of practicing the self-discipline of finishing the tasks for those things that you know you need to do in order to achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve? Or are you spending that time trying to figure out how to make the sales that you want to be making, learning, practicing, experimenting, hitting those little goals that you are writing down for yourself to achieve each day? I hope you're pumped. I hope you're ready. Join me in this video here so we can keep chatting right after this tip from Tucker. Tucker, take it away.